In reality, only a select few individuals hold the power of influence. Not a pounce over a luxury item never to be owned, but real influence over police, governments, and even clandestine fraternities. My true story is so controversial that I invite you to comment and even question my integrity. Episode 22, Made Accountable. I was beginning to see a pattern emerging, and as I read on through the subject access request documents, I saw some worrying references. Worrying, yes, but I understood them. It all made sense, or it started to make sense. This Operation Westminster. What I saw next, within the Criminal Cases Review Commission documents, was that I had been placed on a national police database where I was being monitored 24 hours a day by the British police and government. And that's no small thing. And it's only usually reserved for terrorists and the top 10 crime families in Britain. Now look, I'm no terrorist. I'm certainly no crime family, although I'm part of a family that's been involved in crime, a miscarriage of justice. But what I was reading here effectively stated without any doubt that I had been placed on what's called the Holmes 2 database. Holmes, spelled Holmes, similar to Sherlock Holmes, and Home Office Large Major Inquiry System. That's how it stood for. Now, the Holmes 2, the upgraded version, which is what I was reading, is an information technology system that's predominantly used by UK British police forces for the investigation of major incidents, such as serial murders and extremely high-value frauds. The system is a single application. It's developed by utilise for the Police Information Technology Organisation under the Private Finance Initiative. Now, it provides total compatibility and consistency for all police forces in England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, as well as the Royal Military Police. The name of the system is a reference to the, fictional, as I've mentioned, private detective Sherlock Holmes. Fucking hell, I thought, I'm on this database. How long have I been on this database? Who put me on there? I started to look around and investigate these things, and there's not much on it really. But what emerged was that at the time I was placed on this, because I'll come to it in a second, the head of the Criminal Cases Review Commission was a man named Ralph Barrington. Now, Mr. Barrington was previously an ex-Essex Police Inspector. Now, he'd worked at Essex Police in his senior role as Inspector at the same exact time as David Bright. You'll remember David Bright ran my brother's case, Commander of Essex Police. So we have the Commander of Essex Police in my brother's case, who retired, wrote a book, and then lived off his means on cruise ships, placing my brother's story in there, or his version of it, which wasn't quite true. And we had an ex-Essex Police Inspector of a similar age, 70s or thereabouts, working at the Essex Police at the same time with a senior role inspector who had left Essex Police to become the head of the Criminal Cases Review Commission. You'll remember the juror who came out at my brother's trial. The judge, Justice Blofeld, rejected any application of bias, even though it was clearly bias. You may also remember that the barrister related to the juror was also an ex-Essex Police detective at the same time as Mr. Bright, and Mr. Barrington was at Essex Police before becoming a barrister and then sharing a room with prosecution counsel in my brother's murder trial, for which his brother-in-law, not ex-brother-in-law as he claimed, was on the jury and remained there at the direction of the judge, even though there was clear bias. Operation Westminster. We're now opening the doors. I need to focus. I've now received a huge insight into what's behind the scenes. I could obviously sense all these things coming and going, these people being put into me and my family and upsetting things and the military and all of it. You've heard it. Here is a piece of evidence that shows I have been monitored for many, many, many years. Why? Was it that I was uncovering too much evidence? well, that may be the case. And when presenting that case to the Criminal Cases Review Commission, you'll remember I was arrested by them on fake allegations of harassment, which were rejected. The earlier part of this document shows that the CCRC were not happy that the West Midlands Police rejected their false allegations and persisted to pursue me and demand I was rearrested for over 6 years after the no further action. There's intent for bias. There's clearly something not right here, to say the least. Now, I called Henry. I've received a message on my phone. And what happened in all of this was that Henry had incorrectly filed 2 VAT returns valued at 1.2 million that was sent to him from Echo. You remember, Echo was the platform builder that I'd chosen. Now, when I looked at these invoices, Echo didn't have a VAT registration number. So why had Henry put these invoices and tried to recover VAT? I contacted HMRC and was told to wait for a reply. This was something odd. Henry's the principal of 100-something year City of London chartered accountancy firm. The principal. I dealt with him directly. How could he have made the mistake of receiving these VAT invoices and putting them in, trying to claim money from my company, the Home Club? How did he got it so wrong? Or had he intentionally got it wrong? I needed 5 minutes or more. I spent a considerable time at the tennis club. Things were in business going well. It was being organised reasonably well, and I had little or no dramas other than these things. My mind was buzzing with this Holmes database nonsense and the connections between the police and the Criminal Cases Review Commission. It was all intertwined. They were not only marking their own homework, they were, in my view, deliberately rejecting credible appeals to help their friends. Operation Westminster. It was one evening at the Wimbledon Club and attending the social tennis that I met with a guy called Dr. Az Hakim. Or Az to his friends. Az was a senior psychiatrist, quite famous actually, and with so many professional qualifications that I used to joke with him that he invented them. Now, Az is a consultant psychiatrist at the Priory Hospital in Roehampton. He's also a Harley Street practitioner, and amongst other many responsibilities, roles and engagements, we play tennis together. And I'm fortunate to say that he'd never yet beaten me. I enjoyed his company. He was a fun guy. He was down to earth. He was smart, intelligent, very super intelligent. And, we would have a drink or two and, we would have some meetings afterwards, have a few drinks outside of the Wimbledon Club. Now, the Wimbledon Club had a committee, and this committee was put together to bring more people to the events, a social. And they asked me if I'd be chairman. I accepted. Loved a bit of partying and frolics, you heard it. So I appointed Az as my deputy. Having enjoyed being chairman of the Wimbledon Club's social tennis committee, we continued to get to know each other. Tennis, socialising. I remember Az telling me that he'd been a goth as a youth. If you've seen any pictures of Az Hakim, Dr. Az Hakim, and a goth, we had a good laugh over it, let's say that. I'll show you the photos, he said, and I just fucking cracked up even more. Love to see him. Still haven't, by the way. Now, the funny thing was, I didn't see it at the time, but he kept asking me to attend these tea parties at his Wimbledon flat, where he and his friends, his chums, as he would put them, dress up in different things. And once he mentioned female attire, and then get extremely drunk. So it wasn't really a tea party. He then explained how when he was at school, he would wear multicoloured, rainbow-coloured socks. And bizarrely, his peers would not reprimand him. So, Az was trying to tell me something. He was dressing up in female attire for these tea parties, getting drunk with his friends and his peers at his public school or whichever he attended. His school, let's say, would not reprimand him for wearing multicoloured dress. I get the message. I get it, Az. And, let's say it lightly, I don't want to dress up in women's clothes, thank you. Very kind of you. I said to him also that I would be a friend of his no matter what, his sexuality or preference to tea over coffee, and he laughed. I couldn't say any lighter than that. But he was relaxed and he felt that he had told me something that I'd accepted, which I did. I enjoyed tennis, I enjoyed his company, and whatever he did to his life outside, dressing up or not, it didn't make any difference to me. I liked the guy. I was then asked to attend many other events with the Guild of Entrepreneurs. It was funny when I was there once at an event at the City of London Church by Tower Hill, All Hallows by the Tower, it's actually named. There was a body of entrepreneurs, a lot of the Guild of Entrepreneurs members or freemen there. And there was this, I remember this girl walking around, wandering around, and she then found a way to me and introduced herself, Steffi, German national, over here studying in London. Now, she was actually Mexican, had a German accent to her broken English. She told me that she was studying business in London and wanted to be a leading female entrepreneur. She also said that while she'd been around the room a few times, no one had offered to help guide her and mentor her as an entrepreneur. I took on the role. And rather than go through how I did it or how I didn't do it, I'll just mention her reply to me after shadowing me for a few weeks, 6 weeks I think it was. Quote, I'm a 25-year-old German national studying business in London. I was introduced to Darren via the Guild of Entrepreneurs as I want to become a leading female entrepreneur, but just didn't know how or where to begin or how to be an entrepreneur. Darren, via his company, the Home Club, gave me this opportunity and agreed to mentor me as part of his company's new entrepreneurial apprenticeship initiative. Darren's mentoring program helped me to realise crucial details that will guide me to develop myself in order to have a successful career. He showed me how to think critically at every step. As a student, you don't realise how important these stages are in a process of building a business as an entrepreneur. People mention networking all the time because it seems a daily routine. You simply stop paying attention to keep on shaping it. Darren's great experience and creativity gave me a better vision of how to study clients and satisfy their expectations and necessities. Then how to give back, showing added value in business. Darren also motivated me to dream big, be innovative, create blue oceans and transform communities. A business is not just about making money anymore. It's to be able to reshape the future. Nowadays, I have a stronger and more compelling understanding of business and, importantly, how to be a successful entrepreneur, so that when I complete my business studies and begin my business project, then it will be much more solid than before. Having the theory and a close look at the practice gives me a great advantage. Now it's my turn to put into practice what I've learned from Darren, who does not leave me here, but will also give further guidance and support throughout my entrepreneurial journey. Neither Darren nor the Home Club has charged me a penny for mentoring me and has taken considerable time from their schedule introducing me into the business and entrepreneurial marketplace. I actually loved it." Unquote. The thing is with the Home Club, not only had I looked out for a platform where individuals can communicate in a safe and verifiable place, but I'd also wanted to give back, the combination of the two. And this is what I was planning and working on. These things with Steffi helps me understand what individuals needed in order to succeed. The wave of issues over that month and the great times with Steffi and others made time feel like it was flying by. Lily came back to London and we decided to meet at the Troubadour pub in South Kensington one Saturday afternoon. It was raining outside and we sat in the corner laughing and joking. She explained that I needed to decide whether she was the one. Strange, I thought I was playing it cool. She reiterated that I wouldn't be able to see much of her during the week because of her fashion design business, which I already accepted. I had enough stuff to do, if I'm honest. So I was happy for that. Maybe I'd love to have seen her, no doubt, but I had enough on. She had enough on. I'm older and wiser to get on with that. It just made me funny. I mean, if she had a break, maybe she'd reconsidered her life, wanted to get on with her relationship. I don't know what it was. I asked her, what is it? What is it about me? And in her usual fun way, she said, "Oh, you're not bad looking, tall, strong, good guy, and you crack me up. She's a funny girl." And I told you she was cute. Unfortunately, I had my own, Adele. And whilst the courting and the thoughts and the future and everything was appealing, the break just gave me a chance to have a few more hits with the South African blonde and think about what might be. Even though I kept stopping or blowing out the meetings we'd planned, which she wasn't appreciating, I just wondered. I mean, Adele was a little cutie of Wimbledon. Everyone wanted to be with her. You'd hear it. I was asked at the Wimbledon guy, "Wouldn't you like to?" I was, no, I wouldn't. I was lying, obviously. I'd love to. Anyway, these are honest. I'm being honest with you. These are the conversations some of these men at the Wimbledon club were having with me at the bar. I remember it clearly. Gosh, she's a soul, isn't she? Yeah, she is. Yeah. Would you? None. There you go. Also returning at that time was Alina, coming back to London, let's say, from Russia. She'd been home. She was all over the Home Club and said she wanted to be the brand ambassador for luxury. All right, let's meet up at the Royal Exchange in the city of London. We'll have a cup of tea and I'll introduce you to Henry and let's see how we get on. I was looking forward to her event at Morton's Private Members Club in Berkeley Square and, I just thought I'd roll with this one. Her event soon came through, and I was introduced to many people, one of which was Elena Kafitz, who was also Russian, and told me that she held a part-time position at Kafkaskari University in Venice, which focused on culture and communications. She was the founder and managing director of Allegris Events, and I arranged to meet her again at the same place I'd met with Katerina, in Marouche at Earl's Court. Now, when we met, we discussed the home club, and I asked whether she would like to take a position as a brand ambassador or associate. I'd already had the 4 main headings covered with ambassadors, but I had a tiered system where there were 3 associates per main heading. Now, Alina, with her experience in property and fixtures, fittings and equipment, chose the associate position under home. George Bond was the main brand ambassador for that. I sent her a contract and asked her to consider it, and she supplied me with a biography, proof of identification, and all the other necessities in order to validate her. Things were rolling. I don't know who was talking. One after the other, people were coming through. You'll forgive me with pronunciations of her name or places, but let me try. And the reason being, the next one that came I could never pronounce properly. The next was a female. Her name was Ria Talidou, who was also, at the time, working for a Russian interior designer. I met with Ria at the Orange Tree pub in Richmond upon Thames, where we discussed the same associate opportunities for the property professionals category. And it wasn't too long after references and contracts that she signed up. I thought, fuck it, let's keep going. As one came, another came. Next was Rick Miller, Villa's life partner, you'll remember. I signed him up under the health. Villa was the head, health and well-being. He was there as well. As Hakeem, he signed up. They were all signing up. I met with many people, many brands. Doug McFarlane, owner and CEO at Lomond Yachts. I met him at Hotel Divan, Canizaro House in Wimbledon, on the 9th of February 2017. I was invited to a Mahiki nightclub in Mayfair by Victoria Salem. She also signed up. Finance, associate, social and networking. They were all signing up, all joining up. They all had experience or previous clubs that were doing nothing and decided to join up to engage with my community and some of theirs. Now, the thing that was still hanging out was this VAT business with Echo. Now, if all is right, and Echo got it wrong, because they had no VAT registration, but put VAT on their invoice, Henry should have looked at whether there was a VAT reference, or whoever was administrating this for him somehow didn't. It seemed odd, and I would need to go through a lot more shit, basically, to find out why. Anyway, let's roll the dice again. Now, HMRC come back in contact with me, and embarrassed and potentially up for a bit of a fucking, Dustin was fucked. He had submitted invoices claiming VAT when there was none. Henry was also fucked because he put them into HMRC knowing that he shouldn't have, and then tried to claim out 5 or 10, 20 grand, whatever it was, back from the revenue. I had to manage Dustin and his tech business, so I thought to engage with someone else, just in case things didn't go down too well. I met with another guy, Anthony Godley, who lived in Nottingham, and he claimed to be the platform expert. He talked the talk, and, he had a company called Synergy Media. We met in the Ship pub in Wandsworth by the river, and he explained what he would do. I met with Rhea again. Time after time, things were going well. Everyone was joining up. People were knowing about it. I was having meetings and dinners, and then I got a call from a guy who claimed to be Simon, out of the blue, whilst this HMRC nonsense is going on, and I'm holding information that is extremely sensitive, let's say that, and I mean it, honestly. You can hear me, I don't give a fuck about sharing anything, but this stuff is fucking hot. Talking about selling arms to different governments, fuel dumps, serious shit, whilst wars are going on, to people that they shouldn't be selling. This is the British government. Alan, who handed me those documents, asked me to get them to HMRC. Now, I have this problem with HMRC with this fucking VAT appearing, strangely, out the blue, and then further out the blue, I got this call from Simon, and know from fuck knows how. Now, it could be that Alan had been released and got in contact with him himself, but look, I won't short it. Let's go on. I decided to meet with this Simon, and I received a message to meet him at Waterloo, to meet him and his colleague in a public place. I was asked by Simon to stand outside a statue between the restaurant arcade where his colleagues would check whether I'd been followed before making contact with me. I did the step, stand outside the statue, and some fucking strange people hovering around me. Then everyone seemed to clear. Again, much like the meeting with Q at the Wrekin Centre pub. The whole scene had been staged. But in this instance, it wasn't just a pub, it's a whole fucking square. There was about 100 people, and then the next thing, they all fucking disappeared. One guy walked up. "Darren, your message obviously gained our interest and my colleagues in the restaurant with a coffee. It's just over there." So I sat with Simon and his colleague. Let's call him Tom, as the names were no doubt pseudonyms. Now, I explained the scenario about HMP Blunderston and Alan and wondered what the best thing to do was in the circumstances, and I just watched them carefully, fidgeting and twitching and fucking. They didn't know what to do. They wanted to say, "Give us that fucking information now." That's what they wanted to say, but they had to play it through. Now, remember, I'm on the Holmes database, and if that wasn't enough, they would have found everything about me fucking from DNA to fucking date. I went on. I told them what I had, pulled out a copy and showed one. Fucking nearly fell over this guy. His fucking face is, honestly, I've never seen it like it. He's fucking shocked that anyone had it, let alone me. In the usual way, you'd have a barrister, they'd negotiate a deal for you, and everything would have worked out. I didn't want anything for it. I needed lots for it. Didn't fucking ask. Didn't want a deal. Because part of that deal might have been to fucking shut me up. I had nothing to shut up about. I had no means of contacting Alan directly, but I did have his friend Robin's contact details. I have arranged to meet with him at the Institute of Directors in Pall Mall. Robin mentioned that it was most likely that the people I'd met were in a similar department he was, and where he had seniority and blah, blah, blah. He advised me to meet him again, and this time there would be someone even more senior and similar to a position he was once in. MI6, I said. I don't need to confirm the obvious, Robin replied. I did just as he asked me to. I met again in Waterloo. This time, I was asked to meet at a different place and offices across from the Waterloo railway station. I arrived with some other copies in my hand of court documents. They're even more fucking dangerous than all of it put together. Explaining how the banking system was changed between China and the City of London from option 6 to 7. Who invented that database? Still at the head of China today. It's fucking too hard, I'm telling you. The two pupils that were sitting there, their case notes, I have them typed. The transcripts from that trial. The cross-examinations of the two Turkish diplomats, Kachurian and Esmane, blowing up the Chinese premier. As I was walking past the office, I was looking around. I was actually lost. I definitely looked. I heard a call a few feet behind me. "Darren, I'm here." It's Joseph. I looked about and saw this middle-aged guy standing alongside me. And after a handshake, he was leading me off to his office. Now, as we started walking a few steps, I'd noticed him before. There was a homeless guy sitting in a doorway. I must have walked right past him. And yet the thing was, he was clean-shaven. He didn't look like someone who'd lived rough on the streets. As we was just about to walk past him, he's on my right now. Joseph turned to me unprompted and said, "Get yourself a fucking job and clean yourself up." Now, I thought this was fucking disgraceful behaviour. It's obviously one of them, and it's fucking someone sitting there looking for me. That's how he knew that I was fucking lost. Funny when you're in this fucking little game, isn't it? Anyway, I carry on walking, going to this office. We sit down, I show them. They're fucking gone. It's gone. I said, "Look, you can have it." "Really? What is it you want?" I said, "Oh, fuck all. My aim was to do someone a favour. I've done it. Here it is. You can have it. I'm not interested in it." "Really? Okay, thank you." Didn't want to say fuck all. Right, I've got another meeting. Yeah, there it is. Got up, went to walk out. As I'm walking out, I was called to the other eye, Steve. I thought his name was fucking Joseph. It slipped up in their elation from getting these fucking documents out of me. They started revealing themselves. I don't know what's worrying. One of their own giving out these fucking documents to someone like me. Or, imagine them out in the field, pretending to be someone and calling each other, I don't know. Well, I've got every respect for these fucking security people, but fuck me. They just tied themselves up in knots. Anyway, my task was delivered. And as it was, I received a call from May Simlay, inviting me to attend her event at the London Capital Club. Remember, it was the old Gresham Club, the old boys, fucking leather chair, 4-foot newspaper on a stick, the one. The old school fucking men-only club. Now it's the London Capital Club. Women are invited. And the occasion was to hear an interview with the Lieutenant General at the time, David Leakey, who was then Blackrod at the House of Parliament, Westminster. So I thought, well, this is an intelligent guy. Let's invite someone of intelligence who would enjoy it. So I thought to invite Az. No, I didn't ask him to adjust his attire because no doubt this is a guy that wore fucking tailored suits, not women's dresses. But he also started talking to me as we were walking, and we got on a train at Southfields and left from there. And as we were sitting there talking away, he started talking to me a bit more about the home club. Now, he hadn't previously touched on it, but he wasn't really in it, you know what I mean? And he was really in it now. So anyway, we arrived at the London Capital Club and had some drinks, and David Leakey spoke about his life, his family, the military, and some of the funny stories. You know, he was very, very relaxed, very open. I liked it. After this, I invited him, Sim, and a handful of about 6 guests to dinner in the basement of the Capital Club, one of which was Miss Wenny Gang, who was a banker, and she held a position of client relations for the South Asia division of the London Capital Asset Management. And I equally shared the bill after the dinner as the others fucking disappeared up their own asses, if the truth be known. I wasn't going to say it, but he fucking did that after dinner. It was about 600 quid that dinner. Yeah, it doesn't sound much to some, but, you know, I wasn't expecting fucking 300 quid. Anyway, it didn't matter. Az and I shared it, they fucked off, and we followed them upstairs after the ring of the fucking PDQ machine and the PIN number. Now, as we were up standing at the bar, David Leakey came up and joined us, right? And I was ordering some cognac, Remy Martin, Louis XIII, because I thought I'd treat Az. And whilst we were doing this, Sim and Wenny and the other guests sat at a large round table in the corner of the bar with some other members of the City of London Club, the London Capital Club. And after a short while, this Remy Martin kind of fucking powerful, right? Delicious. It was poured, heated over a crystal glass. Lovely. So Sim invited us to join them. I saw that they were having fun, and so I asked as if he fancied it, and he said, yeah, I don't mind, just go and have it. Anyway, as I walked over, Sim, they all stood up at the table. There was this guy standing there, bald, round guy. Sim said to me, this is Lord Buckmaster Brown. Okay, hello, Lord Buckmaster Brown. He said, call me Michael. Michael, nice to meet you. He said, have they all told you? I said, told me what? Has anybody got a £5 note? I'm thinking, what the fuck's this guy doing? No one had a £5 note. So he went to the bar and got a £5 note. He came here, he said, look, held it up to his face, a picture of Sir Winston Churchill. Notice any resemblance? He said, yeah, fucking hell, it was actually. It was a lot like him. It looked like a ringer of him. He went on to say, I am a direct relation of Sir Winston Churchill, and I have an esteemed military career as an officer. Fucking hell. He carried on. I'm also from a family of aristocrats and high-ranking military officers. I'm a graduate of Sandhurst and went into business following a successful career with the Army and government services, closely working with the United Nations and NATO. All right. Serious guy, and he connected. Fucking hell, Lord. Direct relative of Sir Winston Churchill. Fucking hell, NATO. Fucking hell. It's the sort of guy I'd want in my club. Sure, he's well connected. Certainly must be trusted. Fucking work for the United Nations and NATO. And fucking relative of Sir Winston Churchill. Fuck me. Who could be more trusted? He then went on to list several of his other positions. He was Group CEO of Emblem Group, a specialist newspaper magazine, President of Building Corporations, Hotel Building and Race Courses, DRZ, Gazian, a nanotechnology company. Fucking very impressive, all this fucking thing he was splittering out. I'm a Lord in Peerage and a business leader with an interesting contact book which you may want to be interested in. Yeah, fucking right I would. He then, Michael, as he wants to be known, mentioned that he owned a global security services business. Protection logistics for Saudi, Chinese royal families and other high net worth individuals from a company he owned based in Dubai called Emerald Solutions. He then said that he carried out one of his businesses based in Bermondsey, carried out all of the logistics for City AM. And he was a close friend of Lawson Muncaster, who was the owner or CEO of the City AM newspaper based in the City of London. All right, okay, so your hands for. Now, Michael then asked me what I did for a living. I explained that I owned the Home Club, which was a trusted community for executives, entrepreneurs and the social elite. I told him I had some interesting contacts. I was bringing them together in a trusted environment to engage and enjoy each other's company online and stunning exclusive events. Plus, I would allow affiliate members, luxury brands, to showcase their latest wares to our members, albeit not able to directly communicate with them unless of interest to them. Now his eyes fucking popped out of his fucking head. The next thing I said was, look, to the crowd, I said, look, I've been invited to the Sanderson Hotel by Gomez Grazia and Kai Wunda, the supermodel, to attend a fashion show at Pop Winnie, Chinese lady. She went, Are you able to bring any guests? I love fashion. And Michael and the rest of the males at the table were also waiting for my answer, because if I'd have said no, they'd have all been fucking on me. I turned around and I said, look, I'm sure you gentlemen wouldn't mind if I asked Winnie to join me. You know, she's obviously interested in fashion. You guys wouldn't want to know that. They just shut up and fucking say, mate. That was it. I thought. Az was very impressed with the evening, and he invited me to dinner with him at the private members club Soho House in Dean Street. As you can hear, I'm out about fucking rolling, getting around, fucking HMRCs, fucking nonsense. Where's the bomb going to come from? Holmes database, fucking hell. It'll be coming down walls, fucking looking at me. It's a funny thing, you know, when you realise you're being fucking... Well, not when you realise, you know something's not right. You know lots of things are not right. When you read that, fucking the whole of UK police and military force are fucking watching you, doesn't make you feel fucking homely, let's say that. Nevertheless, who gives a fuck? Now, I was still receiving likes on my social media from Nicola at the Guild of Entrepreneurs. We'd met up, we'd had a chat, she's fucking going to town. You know, she's also at the London Capital Club from time to time, because that same club was the headquarters at the time of the Guild of Entrepreneurs. I get it now. That's why we're all fucking here. Because this is the place where the Guild of Entrepreneurs calls its own. We'd spent a bit of time together. She invited me to the Guild of Entrepreneurs, remember? She took the usual introduction to two of her contacts, Freeman of the City of London, and they put me through. She came up to me and said, I've sent you an email. I just wanted to say a few words, because everyone's talking about you. Everyone's talking about the home club. You're going to have your doors kicked off. She said, they are absolutely going to bang it down. You're being invited. You've been to the silent ceremony. Don't really go to the silent ceremony where the Lord Mayor's reinstated. Installed is the word. Think of the things you're being invited to, Darren. She said, think of the things you're doing. Think of the things, the people you're meeting. Do you think it's all random? Do you think it's all so random? Everyone's backing you. I just remember Nicola Nardelli saying a similar thing. It was all starting to dawn on me. Yes, things were going well, but I had to balance. On one hand, I was had everything going well, and on the other side, HMRC, spooks, fucking Holmes database, CCRC, all the fucking, imagine, you're walking a tightrope. You walk to the right a little bit, you fucking fall, you get caught in a cloud of soft, fluffy stuff. You walk to the left, you're fucking up to your head in a pile of shit. Yeah, that's how it was. But anyway, exciting times. I opened my phone. Look at it, look. She said, I'm going to go and get a drink, and then I'm off because I want to see my son. But have a read, tell me what you think. I read it. Quote, it's seldom that a business opportunity presents itself, particularly at the senior end of one's career, that is such a unique fit for one's CV and life purpose. But Darren's vision for the home club is one I ardently share and am committed to helping realise it. Darren's journey from humble beginnings, working his way to success through some of life's more unpleasant challenges along the path, has moulded this extraordinary man and given him the fuel to aspire to giving back to others in a number of tangible objectives, and to offer thereby a unique opportunity to showcase a multifaceted business concept. In these days of increasing automation and depersonalised service, a membership organisation that strives to go back to its roots and provide members with the highest level of bespoke service and opportunities will necessarily stand out as something special. Furthermore, having the opportunity through membership and participation in the vision to give back to society in a very real and practical ways through entrepreneurial apprenticeship opportunities to a wide range of individuals across the global community and charitable donations to City of London institutions is one that opens doors to the most exciting and innovative possibilities for a diverse sector of talented and aspirational individuals from all walks of life. Unquote. The home club had now found its senior brand ambassador, the top of the pyramid. Well, the top of this part of the pyramid. 4 other brand ambassadors, George, Villa, Henry, Alina, and associates. This was very strong business. People were taking note. I was also invited to another man called Richard Knights. He was previously a clerk of 4 Stone Buildings Chambers in London. Now, Richard had his own agenda. He wanted me to fund a ABS law firm. Now, I barely had the funds to create all that I wanted in the home club. I wouldn't have split from that, but I listened to him. I thought I'd listen to him. He came to me with a business plan, and my senior brand ambassador joined up with him. They all wanted this law firm as well. But my focus was on the home club. And as I keep going, I get busy. Not tennis so much. Yes, tennis, the gym, jacuzzi, the meetings, the dinners, the events. Flat out. Little or no time to remind myself of the Criminal Cases Review Commission, my appeal. I had the evidence. Why wasn't I driving that? Why wasn't I getting on with that? I had to do something. Winnie had heard more of the excitement about the home club and was looking forward to the fashion event as my guest. Kyle Wunder, who was the host and arranged 4 front seats at the event for us. Afterwards, we enjoyed a couple of drinks before she drove me home in her Range Rover. As we travelled through Battersea, she asked me what I did for fun, and I mentioned that other than family and creating contacts and business, I love to play tennis. Winnie asked me to join her for a hit at my club, which I said, yeah, I'll invite you over. Let's have a hit. I said, have a think about whether you might want to be an associate brand ambassador for my financial heading. Henry was the head. She said, I'd love to. If this is how you do life, then yeah, I'm in. Just when I thought that the home club had most of its full team in place, Alina asserted embarrassment at 5 Hertford Street Private Members Club, whilst accompanied by Jane Blight, who was a personal shopper. Now, I'm not going to go into it. They embarrassed themselves. Oh, not Jane so much, it was Alina. And what happened? I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you. I was around the corner at a meeting in Mayfair. She asked me to come and meet her at 5 Hertford Street. I walked in, sat down, and she said, aren't you going to buy 2 ladies a drink? I was literally going to be there 15 minutes to be introduced to Jane, who wanted to join as a member. I said, yeah, get yourself, order what you want. She called the waiter, it's a bottle of champagne, please. She said, you drinking? I said, no, I'll have a coffee. I said, I'm not drinking tonight. Okay, 2 glasses. That was it, came over. So I was sitting there, and we had a conversation. I left. Now, as I'm walking back down through Mayfair, I received a text. Aren't you going to pay for that? I said, pay for what? She said, at the champagne. And I just remember thinking, okay, no. I did ask you, drink what you want. I said, yeah. I said, send the waiter, tell the waiter to either take it off my card. And I just thought, that's not the way you behave. She'd been tested and failed, unfortunately. Shame, because she would have made, on the face of it, a very good brand ambassador. So now I'm one short. But I have an eye on Kaya, and she was she should have been picked first. She had far better credibility. She was a supermodel, Bond girl. She was host of the TV fashion. She was fucking perfect. I wanted to bring everyone together. And there was a little place, View 94 restaurant on Point Pleasant, which was really close to where I lived. It was funny enough, it was the actual show house or show flat that myself and Michelle had visited in 2003, where she won and took me to the World Cup final. You'll remember it in an earlier episode. It had been converted into a restaurant after the rest of the development had completed. We went in there. All of us sat down. There was Anthony Godley, Az Hakim, Kaya Wunder, Barbara Tomic, who was a model and friend of Kaya's, and Rick Miller, Villa, Winnie, Ria, Richard Knights, Nicola Manning, me. They were all there having a chat through. Az wanted to design the logo. He said it had a psychological meaning. I fucking know who better to do that then. Ria added some designs to Az's thoughts, and everyone was right in it, right in the mood. Az said, look, I've spoken to a few friends of mine, and they actually want to come in as well. They've got some opportunities they want to put to you. Go on in. I said, go on, introduce me. Well, he said, a friend of mine, he said, was George Brooke. He's a top guy. He said he's working in director of sales for private healthcare at the Priory Group. Set it up, get him to call me. So we met, George and I, at the Wimbledon Club. I was sitting out. I had a kit, not with Adele, unfortunately, but I had a hit with some others. Came up with my tennis kit, sat in there, and then George came in. I explained the home club. He sounded very excited, and he said it reminded him of his youth at Eton College, where he studied alongside the Duke of Cambridge, Prince William. He agreed that trust is a commodity rarely seen in the higher echelons of society, and everyone is usually doing their utmost to get the upper hand on their rivals. George at the time was focused on the insurance market and wondered if there would be a third-party access to the home club platform. Now, he wanted a back door. No back doors. No back doors in fucking my club. We invite people, and that's it. And just fucking undermined him. I told him of my red line, and I told him there's no third-party access, nor any data sharing. I also mentioned Q as a potential means of proving cybersecurity protection. It seemed to me that even though the Home Club was in its infancy, evolving and becoming more interesting to ambitious people, access to its intellectual property and my contacts was a focus of the hunt. The Home Club was not only now of interest, it was part of the hunt, part of the chase, part of something that people wanted to get into to understand who was in there. It's not enough to fucking let people come in and enjoy life. These idiots wanted to fucking come in and mess with it, fuck it up, leave it for dead, move on with their ill-gotten gain. I caught up with Emery. He was fucking odd. He was evasive. I thought, he must be fucking embarrassed by the fucked up errors you made with those invoices. So anyway, I thought, I'm going to remind you of how I'm forgiving you for your fucking errors. Because they were serious. It could have got us in a fucking lot of trouble. So I forwarded him the business plan for the Home Club and decided to meet with Wenny at her home and then take her for tennis. As we left her apartment block, she pointed out the window and said, see that school over there? HRH Prince George is just about to start that school. He said, I'll tell you, I know, because my son goes to it. I thought, fucking hell, why are you fucking telling anyone? You don't know me. And if you did, why would you tell people? We're the future King of England. He's about to go to school, little kid. Right, he's going to have security there and all the rest of it. But people get around that, easy enough if they had the intent. Why would you be sharing that information like off the cuff? Look, you may think, he's fucking, what club's this? Where people talk. No, it's not where people can't talk. You talk about what you fucking like. But beware and be cautious and be fucking conscious of the shit you're talking about, who you're talking about, and the information you're sharing. Because one off the cuff fucking comment could fuck people up. Now, in this instance, I'm talking about the future King of England. It wouldn't matter who it was in my club. A member, what it did do was install the fact that I fucking chose well. I was on the right track with this club. So after lunch, went in, she had a lovely time. She enjoyed it, sun's out, beautiful, played a good game. Had lunch again at the restaurant and discussed, the meeting at the London Capital Club earlier. And I also remember laughing at when I mentioned Lord Buckmaster Brand's grandiose introduction, how important and interesting he felt and his ancestry and all that. Her reply was, he's a bit of a leech, really. Makes me feel fucking uneasy. I don't know what to tell him and fucking I'll try and avoid him whenever I'm able. I thought, so don't avoid him like the fucking plague. If you do, don't tell anyone because you'll be fucked with that. Anyway, odd comments of him. I don't know the guy. But I passed them off with a distraction. Do you want to play more tennis? Would you mind if I brought my son next time, she said. Of course not. Please do. As I dropped Winnie back home, I glanced at my phone and read an email from Lord Buckmaster Brown. It started really strange. It started with, the group CEO of Emerald Solutions will be in London for a few days from Tuesday. Do you have any time this coming week to meet with him? I've explained the concept, and as I said, we are very interested in offering Emerald services, of course, as well as my own Emblem group. But we can discuss that further, either at the same time or a separate meeting, unquote. It seemed that Michael and his business contacts wanted to offer their global security services to the Home Club members. Of course they fucking would. Now, I was pleased to have the option of additional security companies, but that's the primary risk. To invite these people in is for very careful consideration, as with anyone. It wasn't just now the Mayfair and Knightsbridge sets that were trying to find a way into the Home Club. The City of London were all over it. Everyone was all over it. And I just kept reserved about it. For a number of reasons. One, because I hadn't got the full spec on the platform. I hadn't got all the information on this. It was just really an idea that was running through, taking up interest and taking it up because people wanted it. People really wanted it. They really wanted to be involved. Things were getting even more interesting when I received contact from Peter Estlin, Alderman, then Peter Estlin, now Sir Peter Estlin, who was previously Lord Mayor of City of London. He wasn't then, he was on his way in. He invited me to have tea with him at his office in the Central Criminal Court of the Old Bailey. As I'm about to meet with him, I spoke with Nicola and my brand ambassador, senior brand ambassador. She said, fucking hell, I'd love to come. She said, let me come. She said, fucking hell, I can't get anywhere near these people other than the Mansion House. So I invited her. We went, we had tea, we had a chat, and we discussed cybersecurity. And he posed the question to me whether my club, the Home Club, would fund a cybersecurity system for the City of London. And that's no little thing, is it? This is the future Lord Mayor of the City of London asking me if I will fund and create a cybersecurity protection for the City of London through the Home Club. Don't think about that. Don't fucking know. As ever, of course I will. Didn't know how. Didn't know when, didn't know how much it cost. But I know I'd get the context. I know one, the best one, Q. I will do it. Now, at this time, it was the 17th of March, 2017. Now, you may think to yourself, what happened to Magnet? You got all this money because you got that 50 million or you got a bit of it. Now, I haven't skipped past it because I'd forgotten. I'd skipped past it because I received a letter from the lawyers of Magnet. And I won't quote the letter, but in short, the letter said, if you challenge us or bring a claim against us, or our client, I think it was, in damages for breach of contract, we will say that you're a fraud. Funny, isn't it? On the one hand, you have the future Lord Mayor of the City of London, the most powerful financial institution in the world, historic, people vouching for you, people putting you up, introducing you, same being, same person. And on the other side, you've got these clowns placing you in court, following you every day, trying to bring you down. What is Operation Westminster? Listen in to each episode as I engage you in my personal journey of how a boy growing up on a council estate in Essex would eventually own the most exclusive online private members club in the world.